'Tis the season of gift giving, and this morning we're working for your wallet, and we're joined by wealth management advisor Ashley Russo with some tips to control your budget this holiday season. Ashley, this is the time of year where people can kind of go crazy with their spending here. What are some of your suggestions on what we can be doing to be careful around the holidays here?
Yeah, well, Northwestern Mutual actually is a great study that shows that nearly a third of adults have some sort of financial insecurity. So
Okay.
having a plan is a really good
A
idea.
plan.
So ideally with budgeting, we're looking at it over a calendar year. So can we pay attention to this ahead of our, holiday spend time and
Sure.
start to automate some savings so that by the time we get to holiday spend, we've got a bucket of money that we can put towards those experiences or the things we want to buy or do during holiday time.
So some of this planning should have happened maybe a few weeks ago for now, right?
Ideally, yes. And to the point where over the calendar year, can we look at areas we can cut back and other things we can do again so we can arrive at this moment with options and choices and abilities
Sure.
and less stress, ideally.
Yeah, stress. Cutting down the stress is a big deal,
Yeah.
and the finances are a big part of that. Look, travel. A lot of people are either thinking about traveling or traveling as we speak right now, but maybe they have a little time to discuss their next trip. What should they be thinking about when it comes to the finances when they're talking about that?
Yeah, well, just like with budgeting, again, if we can plan in advance, we're getting into 2025. So if everyone can start to plan for the next year and start to automate, they're going to put themselves in a less stressful situation.
Sure.
But with that, think about your priorities.
Yeah.
Do you really want to go do a spa, thing
Yeah,
on that
sure,
vacation? Do you want to
sure.
go to a nice dinner? Do you want to go shopping? What are you looking forward to? Plan that in advance so by the time you get to the experience, we don't get into overwhelm and overspend.
Yeah. New Year's resolutions will be right around the corner here. A lot of people include finances in that, but may not really set the tone or the goals or what are some of your suggestions when they're really trying to clamp down on the finances in the new year and the resolutions?
Yeah, one of the most practical things we can do is actually think about what we want, right?
Okay.
It sounds silly, but if we think about life, it's just so busy and there's so much going on.
True.
But if we take a moment to think about the things we actually want, what do we want in the short term? What do we want in the midterm? What do we want in the long term? What do we want our lives to look like so we can start to assign effort to purpose,
Yeah.
right? We obviously work hard to create our dollars, but the more we get clear on the purpose for those dollars, the more meaningful that effort will be.
Can you talk a little bit about the dominoes falling when you overspend, then trying to catch up on that credit card bill, right? And then there's these high interest rates. I mean, it can spiral out of control pretty quickly if you don't have a plan, right?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that because people think that financial plans create restriction, but they actually create a ton of freedom, right? And to that point, if we think about what we want in advance, think about what you want in the next 1 to 3 years. Take that
Yeah.
short-term bucket. Then go further, right? Think about what you want in the next 4 to 10 years.
Sure.
Think about your bucket list items. The more we can start to visualize that, the more we can control that potentially out of control spend because again, we haven't assigned that purpose to our effort.
If there's one thing people maybe watching this right now are like, okay, I've got time to crack down on one thing right now, talk this over with my significant other, what would be the first suggestion here?
Ooh, one thing is hard, but I'll highlight that November is Long-Term Care Awareness Month.
Okay.
So looking at long-term care, we are the first generation in a long time that's not only expected to take care of a generation above, but also take care of a generation below. So typically parents and grandparents
Sure.
and then children. And we're
Sure.
sandwiched right there in the middle.
Okay.
It's expensive, right? It's expensive to age, especially around holiday time. We want our family with us,
Yeah.
right? So making sure we've got a plan for long-term care, that's the gift that keeps
Yes,
on giving,
that's right.
If we can put that burden, that financial burden on an insurance company and not necessarily on ourselves,
Yeah.
that's an important thing to think about.
Some important discussions to have around maybe after the holiday feast, but something that you got to definitely be talking
Maybe
about.
during dessert time.
That's right. Ashley, a little bit more information if we want to learn more about you and some of the services you provide.
Yep. You can reach me at ashleyrusso.nm.com. You can go on northwesternmutual.com and find an advisor and make sure you're creating a great financial plan for yourself.
Awesome. Ashley, really appreciate you coming in.
Happy to be here.
All right, taking a quick break. We'll be right back.